I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri. We are living through unprecedented times with a global pandemic now approaching its third year. As a result, the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund was created. This fund, administered by the state of Michigan, is designed to help homeowners cope with pandemic-related hardships, such as delinquent property taxes. To see if you qualify, please visit. Call 313-388-9799 or email taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Well, good morning and welcome to the first broadcast of the Ask Welfare Rights Program. We're approaching almost 20 years that we've been broadcasting out of this station at 160 Victor, and this is the first broadcast of 2023. We have a special guest, and I'm saying that because the special guest indicated a little while ago that she was retiring. But the special guest is in the studio today. That would be Marion Kramer. As she gets her documents and paperwork together, let me remind you that if you want to call us, area code is 313, all over the place. And the phone numbers are 868-0342, 868-0351, or 868-4336. And if you're tuning in on the web, you can always go to www.tv33whpr.com. On the Comcast channel 90, you can get us. And if you have one of those small television sets in your basement or in your kitchen with a wire hanger, you can get this station at 15.2. So all of those kinds of methods are available for you to check in. So, Marion, why don't you say good morning and tell people hello.
Good morning, and it's good to be back here. I can't stop laughing. But Maureen's taking you through already.
Well, remind people about bringing their pen and paper.
Oh, yes.
Remind them to have that.
Some things do not change like you think they do. We still need you. If you call in or what have you, need some paper and something to write it on. Or
something to write with.
Yeah,
you ain't got paper.
Got paper.
Something to write with.
So please. Okay. Call when you call. Don't overlook what we like for you to do, where we could hear you and talk to you and get whatever information you might have acquired out to the community.
All right. We had an internal meeting a couple of days ago at Welfare Rights. We're still on hiatus. And office doesn't open until next week, and that'll be the week of June the 9th. And at that discussion, we were talking about some of the new realities that we have to face. And one of those realities is this Lifeline program that the city of Detroit has launched, and they're calling it the Detroit's first water affordability plan. Now, it's not a water affordability plan. It's not that. It's certainly not the one that we have been offering for a number of years now. But it is a plan that you don't have a choice. You have to get in it. The reason you have to get in it is because the moratorium, the protection against water shutoffs, ended the 31st of December. So we're talking about just a few days ago. No one is protected. And so far as we can tell at Welfare Rights, it's about 62,500 households that are on a list designed to be shut off. 62,500, and that's just in the city of Detroit. The Lifeline program is offered only in Detroit. It is not offered in Highland Park. It is not offered in Hamtramck. It's not offered in Sterling Heights. It's not offered in Livonia, Oak Park. None of these other municipalities. Yet all of the municipalities I just mentioned are struggling with water shutoffs because they have no protections. And folks, low income, moderate income people in those communities are being shut off. So you don't have a choice. You must get in to this Lifeline program so that you will be protected against shutoff. Now, Marion, you will recall in 2014 when this last great big mass water shutoff started to unroll.
I know they got to remember that.
Well, we never want to go back to that. That
No.
was hell on wheels, you know. Just too much, you know, families getting U-Hauls in the middle of the night so that they can move out because the Department of Health and Human Services were coming to pick up their kids living in a house where there's no water. So we had all of this movement, all of this arguing, all of this abuse that was going on all over the place. And some of us that met the other day, we decided we don't want to go back to that. So at this point in time, we ask you to get involved in the Lifeline program. Now, here's what it says. The Detroit Water and Sewage Department Lifeline plan provides income-eligible persons to be enrolled in up to using 4,500 gallons of water a month.
Now, we need to talk about that more.
Well, now, if we're going to ask people to get in the program, we have to be careful the way we talk about it, right? You have to get in it, because right now they're talking about 4,500 gallons of water or less every month. That's what you're going to be allowed. It's more like a rationing program, but that's the maximum. All right, the water bill debt can get erased. This is how it works. If you're at a certain income, 135% of the poverty level or lower, your monthly water bill will be $18 a month. If you stay within 4,500 gallons or less. If your monthly, or if your income is 150% of the federal poverty level or less, your water bill is going to be $43 a month. That's what you pay. And if your income is at 200% of the federal poverty level or lower, your water bill per month is going to be $56 a month. All right? Who's eligible? Households that are already enrolled in the RAP program. Marion, you remember RAP, W-R-A-P, like you rap a gift. And that's the Water Residential Assistance Plan. If you're already in it, you're eligible. My nose is running. You got a tissue? I mean, I'm about to sneeze. Where's your purse?
I don't think.
Okay. All right. Well, just keep rubbing my nose until it stops. All right. So 2,500 households that are in RAP can be. Oh, good. That'll do. Thank you. Will be enrolled. Doggone allergies. If you're on food stamps, if you're on Medicaid, you're eligible for those programs, you're going to be eligible for this program as well. Here's the number you have to call. And again, what we're telling you is that you don't have a choice. You get in this program or your water is subject to be shut off. And now you have to do something to get it turned back on. It's going to end up being a much larger payment. And, of course, you're going to get a penalty because you're poor. So if your water bill is already $500, you don't pay it, you don't make any arrangements, you don't get in this program, then they may want to ask you for 30% of it. So you have to come up with $150, $175 all at one time. And then when you look at the bill again, it won't just be $500. It'll be $500 plus because you get a fine, a penalty because you're poor and you didn't pay it on time and your poverty is about to be punished. So you have to get in the Lifeline program. Here's the number, area code 313-386-9727. Area code 313. The number is 386-9727. Detroiters, you don't have a choice. Get in the Lifeline program. Now, there's several ways to access it. If you're competent online, you could go to the Water Department website and look up Lifeline, and you can fill out the application online. All right, but everybody's not competent on a computer. Everybody doesn't have a computer at the house. Mm-hmm. So you can do it that way. And Sylvia says there are a number of additional steps you have to follow. May be the case, but you could call them, and an agent at that number will fill out the application for you. You talk to them. I don't have a computer. I don't know how to do this by myself. They'll go through it. You know, what's your income? How many in your household? What's your address, your phone number? How far behind are you? And all like that. Right?
Okay.
Go ahead.
One thing about this is that I know some people probably will be saying they're not going to do with nothing because I've tried. Yeah. At Wayne Metro. Mm-hmm. And they will say then they didn't help me and they haven't called me back and stuff. Keep calling. Yeah. Keep calling where you can get someone to talk to you on that line.
You don't have a choice. And again, Marion is so right. We hear that all the time. Well, I did call and I left a message and nobody called me back. Well, ma'am, when did you call? I called in September of 1992. And you didn't call back since then? Well, I was waiting for somebody to call me back. Stop it. Stop it. You have to call. You know, the first time you ask Massa and say, Massa, would you please set me free? And Massa didn't respond, and you was waiting on Massa to let you off. Mm-hmm. And it didn't happen. And you keep talking about, well, you know, he didn't call me back. Marion is right. Be persistent. Call every hour. 386-9727. 386-9727. Call every hour and leave a message. Message might say you only have to call in once. Forget that. No, call every hour.
That's right.
Until you get somebody, because if your water gets shut off, don't be calling down the welfare rights talking about I called and they never called me back and they're on the front porch with a shovel now. I don't, you know, we don't have that kind of energy like we had in 2014, and we don't want to go back to that again. So, Marion, anything else we need to add there?
Yeah.
Boy.
This is a hell of a fight we're going into
again.
Today. And I know a lot of you gonna be sitting back and say, "I'm gonna call welfare rights now." Look, welfare rights, we have been worn down.
Yep.
On making sure that people get what is needed in order to survive. So now is the time for you to step forward and join the organization. Don't wait until the last day. You're not only gonna be calling welfare rights. Welfare rights is not gonna be able to do nothing for you.
Yeah, and that's the truth. You know, people call us at the little ad hoc meeting we were at the other day, an impromptu, you know, nothing official about welfare rights meeting. And we just took a look at the recent telephone calls that we've received at welfare rights. The office is not open officially, but people are calling us about taxes. Mm-hmm. People calling us about DTE issues, lights and gas. Folks calling us about water, calling us about food stamps, calling us about all kind of, the roof is leaking. You know, information we've been trying to share with people through the SARA program. And that's, hold on a second. Carla, hold on just a moment. The CERA program that we had been talking about for 2-3 years. Mm-hmm. And now people decide, oh, you know, I had the number, then I lost the number, and I called them and they called me back, and that was last year, and I haven't heard from them since, and folks don't follow up. You know, that is just not going to fly this time. So we want to encourage you. If you're low income, moderate income, call to make certain that you get into the Lifeline program so that will keep your water on.
One last thing on that. Those of you that think that you're over income of that, still try
Call
to
anyway, yeah.
call anyway and find out, because they have people there that will help you with those programs. And they'll let you know if you qualified for that. Then if you do call in and still are having some problems, you may talk to somebody at Welfare Rights on that, but
Call.
call.
All right, caller, you've been very patient. Thank you for waiting, and thank you for calling Ask Welfare Rights. Caller, you are on the air.
Hey, Grand Rising, everyone.
Hey, Grand Rising.
Well, good to hear your
Hi.
voice.
All righty, good morning.
Grand Rising.
All right.
How's everyone on this morning? Kind of rainy, kind of overcast, but still we got our eyes open and we got our functions in. How's everybody?
We are
All
well, and welcome to the first Ask Welfare Rights broadcast of 2023. Go ahead,
right.
Grand Rising, and tell us what we need to know.
Sure. Well, here in Highland Park, beautiful Highland Park, today at 11 to 1 o'clock, we're having the Unity in the Community prayer breakfast. And that is sponsored by our new administration, our new mayor, Glenda McDonald. She won the election. She's the mayor now. So the prayer breakfast is always after every election. And we even have a prayer breakfast, too, in our Michigan Week parade in May. For today, Friday, January the 6th, from 11 to 1, we'll be meeting at Ernest T. Ford Recreation Fieldhouse for a prayer breakfast. People will be sharing and talking and in harmony. That's at 10 Pinkett in Highland Park. Now, you have to have RSVP earlier for this event, but we're knowing that the communities that have RSVP will show up and show out elected officials as well as ministers in our community. And that's the prayer breakfast going on, which will be in less than an hour from now, 11 to 1 p.m.
Okay, so 11 to 1. You needed to have pre-registered already. And so that's at the Rec Center on Pitkin. And that's from 11 to 1. That's the community prayer breakfast.
That's right.
Got it. Okay.
That's always been our theme for anything that we've had. I mean, this goes all the way back to the 60s.
Okay.
We've always talked about unity in the community. Anytime we've had an event where the community was brought out, we broke bread,
Okay.
Also, Friday, this is Friday. Saturday, there will be the inauguration ball. Mayor Glenda McDonald, Saturday, January the 7th, 2023, from 6 to 11 at the Tuxedo. And Tuxedo Place. Let me explain it. The address is 11745 Woodward Avenue, and it's Tuxedo. It's originally been a storage facility. It's a big, tall building on the corner, but in the lower level, there is availability for cabarets, for events, and you know what they also had too? Just this Wednesday, they had their grand opening. And I and a few of my Block Club members, we went there, and they served nice chicken. It was delicious chicken, some type of salad, and there was like a pasta dish, too, as well. There is a full bar there. Now, they did feature on that night, Wednesday, just past, that the drinks were $2, but, you really don't want to mess with those kind. That's the bottom shelf. However, there was a nice
$2 drink.
People there to open up the grand opening at the Tuxedo establishment on Woodward. It's on Woodward and Tuxedo, and that's where the inauguration will be tomorrow, Glenda McDonald's inauguration ball. There's a cash bar, and they're asking that you dress in your pearls, your tuxedos, your chucks, and you keep it classy. Okay? Keep
Fine dining. So this is an inauguration. It's Saturday from 6 to 11 at
Yes.
the Tuxedo Building, new
Yes.
building, 11745 Woodward, Woodward and Tuxedo. And this is a shock to me because Highland Park has not had a building to have a event in a long time. So I'm a little concerned, though, Madam Grand Rising, because you said something about $2 drinks. Drinks haven't been $2 since Hector was a pup. So that must be a $2 drink. That must be a $2 glass of water with no
And
ice.
Skippy.
No, $2. Lord have
And
mercy.
Skippy was a pup.
Oh, you know what?
Right.
And
That was
with
the grand opening special.
Well, with that thought, last week I was trying to remember the name of a very close friend to welfare rights, and her name was Lou Daniels. Now I remember Aaron Daniels. Aaron Daniels. All right, well, just a little concerned about that. So folks that are thinking they should take $4 with them this Saturday to 11745 Woodward and Tuxedo, so that you could buy yourself and your partner a drink. You better have some pop bottles in your trunk, because I think it might end up being a little bit more than $2. And you might want to be careful about that anyway, but that sounds kind of interesting.
Now,
The
that
Tuxedo
was
Building.
Wednesday for the grand opening. There is a cash bar Saturday. I'm not sure on the prices for the inauguration ball.
Yes, you are sure, Madam Grand Rising. You're sure. And you're
So
sure
the tickets are
they're not
$2.
$2. You're pretty
No,
sure.
not for the inauguration.
Not for the cash bar.
But for the grand opening, just this past Wednesday, the drinks were $2.
What you say? Marion is trying to remember that song that Richard used to sing. These last $2. All right. So we got Mayor McDonald is having an inauguration ball. Marion, I know you have to get going and get ready for that. 6 o'clock. Sounds like fun. 6 to 11. Marion might go from 6 to 6:15, and there'll be time to go. All right. So that's two things that are going on. The Pitkin Rec Center today at 11 is having an event, and Madam Grand Rising. Does that mean also, since this is Friday, people who happen to be at the rec center today can still get their vaccine shots?
Yes, they can.
All righty. All right. So that's
happening
going
in
on at the
another
rec
area
center
of the
too.
building.
Go ahead.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. It's very important, please. COVID has not gone anywhere. It's still here.
Yes.
So while this opportunity to get free Pfizer, Moderna, or Johnson & Johnson boosters, vaccines, and even you can get testing too as well to see you may have like a little cough or a sneeze or something. You may say, I don't know what this is. I better go on over to the recreation center and get a COVID test,
Yes.
I just want to encourage all, please. I've noticed that when I go out, people still aren't masking like they used to.
Yeah, people are not wearing a mask. I see it all over the place. Somebody indicated that the numbers that we started off with in February and March of 2020, those numbers are not that bad. So that's an indication that we're getting over COVID. And Madam Grand Rising, you are correct. We're not getting over COVID. We still have to mask up. It's the wintertime. Kids going back to school Monday, and there's no telling who has picked up COVID activities. People are still dying of COVID. People are still being hospitalized. And we got the triple threat going now. The RSV, congestion problem. We've got the flu and COVID. So you're so right, Madam Grand Rising. People are not masking up. And I'll say this, folks that may be interested in getting several boxes for free of the disposable surgical mask can call Welfare Rights, and you can come out to my school. I'm going back to work next week, and we'll give you several boxes for free. This thing is not over with. So go ahead on. What else we need to know?
Did you say for free?
FREE or PHREE, or for those fancy spellers, we will give you several free boxes of masks. These are the surgical masks. While you're at my building, we'll give you several boxes of LED light bulbs for free. Free, we'll give you several boxes, and boy,
energy efficient,
and the community loves these light bulbs, man. You know, and I got those available too. So if you call us down at Welfare Rights, make arrangements. You have to come and pick them up, and we'll give you masks, and we'll give you light bulbs for let me say it the other way, PHREE for free, not pre. For free, Marion, not pre. For free. That means no charge. Okay.
No charge.
No charge.
What time is it for between when you gonna start giving them out?
All right, folks that are interested need to call down to Welfare Rights.
Okay.
So and leave your name and number, so we'll call you back and work out a schedule when you can come.
Okay.
Okay.
That's right.
All right.
Just make sure that I'll call you later.
All right. Madam Grand Rising, are there other pieces of news that we need to know?
Well, our block club, we won't meet until January the 19th.
There it is.
We decided in December. We didn't know what kind of weather we were going to have it. And look at here. You look outside, it looks like close to spring, don't it?
It does. It does.
Global warming.
And that global warming is a wonderful thing right up until a grizzly bear rolls up in your backyard looking for something to eat. See?
Not just
the grizzly bear roll up in your yard looking for something to eat. All right, because it's global warming and the frosting went away. And Tim is out there trying to take the trash out. And look up, and there's a Yogi Bear standing there saying, boy, Tim, the bag of trash looks good, but Tim, roll up that sleeve, because it look like that.
Can I check
you see? My goodness, yes. So go ahead, Madam Grand Rising.
Well, here in Highland Park and all over,
Block Club.
we are a city, metropolitan city inside Detroit. Sister city is Hamtramck. And for at least 10, 15 years now, we're getting all these different critters that you usually would get in the country or the suburbs, There's a animal that I've named a scrabbit. And I saw it one morning on my way to work many years ago, and it just blew my mind.
Now, what is a scrabbit?
It looks like a rabbit, but it's also like a rat.
Whoa! They didn't start loving each other, huh?
Well, they're both the same species.
They've been having they've been dating.
Yeah.
Okay. The rabbits and the rats been going out together. Tim says a spring fling. You are so right. I remember I went to an attorney's office a few years back, and as I was coming out, there was a deer. This was a buck with the full rack.
Yeah.
A 8-point deer, and standing there looking at me. And you know how you stamp your foot? And the deer said, back at you. So I was, I'm not scared of that.
shout out to you too.
Hey, you know, so there is a raccoon infestation in
Yes.
several
Yes, there
communities in Detroit.
There
Hey,
is.
they be walking
You
down
know?
the street themselves.
You know?
They're not. They're not.
They're
I'm
not
not afraid
afraid.
of you.
Raccoons, possums.
Possums.
But the-
yes.
I tell you that time.
You have to sit up a little closer. I know you're relaxing.
Yes, I
I
am.
know.
We were coming from skating thing for young people, and on the way back, my cousin children said, "Stop the car! Stop the car!" We and hey, mama, stop the car. But these deer start looking at the car.
What were they doing? Crossing the road?
And you know, and all of a sudden you looked up, they were running. Those deers was running us out. I mean,
Yeah.
look, animals gonna have to fight back also.
Yeah,
They
you
come
got
into
that
the
right.
city now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now the problem with
It
those
is not their
possums
fault.
is that the possums are a little slow, and so
They real
in the
slow,
morning
ain't they,
you
still?
find possum roadkill because they
They real
start on
slow.
this side of the street, take them too long to get to the other side, they get run over. But possums, raccoons, deer, I haven't seen a skunk. And I hope not to, but you are.
please,
I'm
no.
talking about in the city.
Oh, please don't.
You know, so Madam Grand Rising, you're right about that. We have to pay attention. We do have to pay attention, you know.
Yes, we do.
And if you notice too, when you take your garbage out, you have to constantly go back and forth to
Yeah.
make sure
The top is on.
yeah, but sometimes that you don't make it to that top. And so you know we gotta
You got to pay attention.
Now,
All
what
right.
a good friend told me what she had to do, she said the squirrels were notorious with her garbage. So she took some cayenne pepper and water and smeared it all on the top of the can and then used some duct tape. And she said they don't mess with her garbage cans no more.
Well, see, that's in Highland Park. See, in Detroit, you put some cayenne pepper on your trash can. When the squirrels show up, they've been to
Yeah.
Park's barbecue already, and they rub they rub them ribs on that cayenne pepper
Oh,
to
you
boost
stop.
up that spice. Cause see, that ain't working with those squirrels
You
in Detroit.
stop.
They're not warded off by cayenne pepper. You know,
And
they
in fact-
wipe them ribs on there. Yeah, you know. So
Oh, you
They're
stop.
gonna be knocking on our door.
you know. So now, Madam Grand Rising, you're right. We got different kind of critters. In just a moment, we're gonna be talking about some two-legged critters and some of the stuff that they've been dealing with. Yeah, you know. So, Madam Grand Rising, tell us anything else we need to know.
Well, I need everyone just to please remember the strongest power on this earth is love.
Okay. Okay.
That's a
Love
good one.
conquers all.
Okay. Sounds like a good
so-
plan, and that's a good message.
So let's remember that no matter what it looks like, just throw some love in that mix.
It's a good message, Madam Grand Rising, for 2023. Thank you for, as always, a full report.
I most welcome you and thank you for this opportunity to just spread the love.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye now. All right, 868-0342, 868-0351, 868-4336. In 1973, an organization called the United Community Housing Coalition first started its organizing activities in Detroit, 1973. It's been 50 years. Marion was one of the people that was honored just a few months ago, based on the kind of work that she's been doing, organizing for a number of years. The United Community Housing Coalition, when they started, and now, over a period of 50 years, they've not changed. They came into being to help low-income and moderate-income people stay in affordable housing or find affordable housing. and they have been true to that cause. The executive director there is Ted Phillips, but one of the early community organizers was a woman by the name of Karen McLeod. And Karen McLeod worked with United Community Housing Coalition. She was a product of the Cass Corridor, little short Anglo-American woman. And when she looked like, you know, all years I've known Karen, she never changed. She always looked the same. And she was a fighter and hated poverty and believed that low-income people ought to be treated correctly and ought to have access to housing. Well, we're going to, Karen joined the ancestors, and we're going to honor her work this Saturday, which means tomorrow, at Central United Methodist Church at 2 o'clock. Saturday, tomorrow, at Central United Methodist Church. And it's a lot of things that Karen McLeod was noted for, and we're going to be able to go over some of those outstanding contributions. Caller, hold on just a moment.
Okay.
So for those that knew Karen, those that know the United Community Housing Coalition, join us at Central United Methodist Church, Woodward, Grand Circus Park, tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Homegoing services start at 2, and the broadcasting activities start at 3, also at the same location. All right, caller, you've been very patient. Thank you for waiting, and thank you for calling. Ask Welfare Rights. Caller, you're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was listening to you young ladies talking about the possums.
Oh, about the possums. Go ahead.
Okay, now, I don't know if this is the city of Detroit that can do something or the mayor, but too many garbage cans in all of our neighborhoods. I live over here on West Grand Boulevard off of Dexter. These people leave their garbage cans not in front of their house, not on the side of the house, but laying in the middle of the street or in the sidewalk. And rats and kitty cats around here having a meal. And so I think the city should do something about that.
You should be calling, or I don't know if you got a block club or anything like that over there, but they need to be contacting the
city council. City council.
No, what's it called? Department of Public Works.
Okay.
The Department of Public Works.
Okay.
And making that complaint and explaining to them so they can come over there and do something about that.
This whole neighborhood is like, they need to give a ticket to them.
Okay, well,
but
somebody got to call the right unit. Go ahead, Mary.
You have, just like we started off talking about, don't get mad on the first call.
Oh, I don't do that.
Okay, call them, and if you have to do that for a week or so, and if they don't do it, make sure you get on your city council.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Department of Public Works, because that's a nuisance. Okay, dear.
Thank you, and Happy New Year to both of you. Stay healthy.
All right, Happy New Year to you as well.
Good to
all
hear
right,
your voice.
Thank you much. 868-0342, 868-0351, 868-4336. The League of Revolutionary Black Workers, according to Wikipedia, formed in 1969. And the League of Revolutionary Black Workers was an organization dedicated to looking at organizing black workers who were perceived as not getting the right kind of treatment in this racist America, and workers not getting the right kind of treatment. So in Wikipedia, it's got two names. It says the organization was structured by General Baker and Chuck Wooten. It's in Wikipedia. And what it talks about is it organized a number of RUMs, Revolutionary Union Movement. So there was a Chrysler Union Movement, a LRUM, a union movement, all of the different revolutionary union movements where these workers were coming together to demand human rights, economic rights. Well, one of the early members of that organization, not original, but one of the early members, we just heard Richard Moore. And Richard Moore worked with Johnny Boy Wright out at the Sterling plant. Yeah. And they were very, very much involved with organizing workers around civil rights, human rights, and economic rights. And Marion got the message just a couple of weeks ago that Richard Moore joined the Ancestors. Mm-hmm. So wanted to call his name. And then there's another person that wasn't one of the original members, but became a member of the League of Revolutionary Black Workers, who was a Chrysler worker. And that's Mr. Ed Taylor. Mm-hmm. Ed Taylor became a member of the Chrysler group, and very involved with organizing and picketing and whatnot. And we had to send Ed back a couple of weeks ago as well. And there's three folks right there that are it's just so painful when you've been working with these people for 30, 40, 50 years that one day you have to send them back. And so that's three that we got news about that they joined the Ancestors. And then there's one more. On the 29th of December, that means 4 days after Christmas, some of you may have seen the woman that went to the store, the convenience store on West Outer Drive and Grand River, and get a bag of chips, a loaf of bread, whatever. And it was dark. And when she came out, thinking, looking everywhere but in front of her, and there was the culprit, the shooter, the assassin was in the parking lot, and he shot and killed her. And her name was Tracy Golden, my cousin. And just got that news that she was murdered by one of these, fellas out in the streets. And it's going to end up being somebody 20, 30 years of age that don't have that moral center, shooting girls. Oh, and my goodness, her homegoing has now been set up. Ed Taylor's homegoing has now been set up. Tracy Golden is going to be eulogized at Blessed Sacrament Cathedral, and that's Friday the 13th. Family hour starts at 10. Homegoing services start at 11. And Blessed Sacrament is a Catholic institution, and that's at Woodward, just a few blocks from Chicago. I don't have the exact address. So that's Friday, 10, family hour at 10, funeral starts at 11. Ed Taylor is being memorialized also on Friday, but that service starts at 3, and it's at Cole's Funeral Home on Schaefer. So for those of you that know the area, Schaefer right there at Puritan, and his memorial service is going to start also on the 13th of January at 3 o'clock. So those four folks, Karen McLeod had to send her back, Richard Moore had to send Richard back, Ed Taylor, and now Tracy. The police don't have any clues yet. I believe that Chief White is looking. Those detectives are trying to figure this out. But the thing I wanted to mention, and Mary, comment on this if you would, Detroit Action, Malik Shabazz, some of the grassroots organizations that are in the streets arguing and fighting and organizing and activizing, no such word, around this level of street violence that just consumes 1 or 2 people in Detroit every day. Every day, 4 people get shot, 1 dies. The next day, 6 people get shot, 1 dies. The next day, 7 people get shot, 2 die. So by the end of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you might have 6, 8, 10 people that have been murdered. And they don't call those mass murders, but I think they are. You know, they're accumulating. And just because 2 or 3 of them happen every day doesn't mean it's not a mass murder, and I think it is. So the activists and organizers are already talking about going to stores, and I've seen some of this just in the last few days, and asking these stores to hire somebody, or the community will step up and do it, and walking women and or children who are in these stores when it's dark at night, and gas stations, Marion, walking them to their cars to make certain that they get there. So what are you thinking, Marion?
I'm thinking that it's not going to go away
No.
unless the people start moving forward and demanding that, that we have to do something.
Yeah.
Something about this. Tracy should not be dead.
Should not be on this list.
So, but it's a continuous type of thing of all this thing is saying that we're turning in on ourselves. I mean, on yourself.
On each other.
On each other. So, if you're interested and want to clean that up, call Welfare Rights. And if we find out that there's some type of activity going out to deal with this, you need to get involved. Now, see, let me tell you something. I get involved in so many things. I can't keep up with it no more. And this just didn't start yesterday.
No, it didn't.
It's a continuation. But you see in the Maureen, if you notice, if you go outside of Highland Park into the communities and stuff like that, it doesn't look like nothing we know anything about. It's quiet, it's nice and everything. We want that type of community also. And we don't want people in the community shooting people.
Well, I sent a couple of messages out over the last few days, and here's my thinking. And we're down to about 7 or 8 minutes left. The police have to, what's the right words? The police right now seem to be the main ones that are trying to find these culprits and these shooters and these assassins that are waiting at the side of gas stations and outside the store and outside the barber shop and whatnot. And that's important, and they need to continue to do that. But Marion, I believe, and I have for a long, long time, the community has to take control of this violence that's going on in our neighborhoods. And we have to tell the police, we want you to do what you do. Thank you. And we want you to support efforts. But the community has to be the leading voice.
That's right.
To talk about what's going on, because these young criminals that don't have a moral center, nobody said to them, you're not supposed to shoot each other. Nobody said to them, you're not supposed to beat girls. I saw the young man who was in the van on TV the other day, and he and the girlfriend, I guess, had words at a previous party, at the New Year's Eve party or something, and she got mad. Drinking was involved, so she walked off. And he went and got in the van, his work van, and drove around and saw her. And it was on TV. You didn't see that? She walking. He comes up behind her in the van, and he jumps out the van and grabs her, and she tusses him a little bit, and he slams her into the side of the van. I mean, he slammed her hard, then shook her, and then threw her inside. Now, the police found him because on the side of the van, it had the name where he rented it from. So, it took him a day or 2 or 3, whatever. And they found him. And the judge originally gave him a bond of $150,000. That's what, your bond is because of this violence. Then the lawyers got involved and a plea deal was issued, and the bond went from $150,000 to $5,000. And so with $5,000, if it was 10%, that means you needed $500 to get out. that sends a message
Yes,
that
it
it doesn't
does.
matter that you got roughed up. And, you know, it might have even been the girlfriend saying, well, no, I don't want him to go to jail. No, no. People have to learn that there are other ways to solve your issues rather than violence. Here comes the Richmond School. This is Friday. I think this was Tuesday. The Richmond School District, they got a message. Somebody put a message in the bathroom. The school is not even open now, but a student posted a message. Let me just say it like that because I don't know the details. And the student posted a message threatening a staff member and the staff member's child. And, you know, I'm going to hurt him or kill him or whatever it is that the kid said. And, you know, we've lost control of this already. Before Christmas, we were all living through schools shutting down because of violence, fighting and sending post messages and text messages and Facebook messages and Twitter messages, all this kind of stuff, talking about violence. And the community, I've heard a couple of people talking about a community crime summit. And it's probably a good idea, you know, to pull together the Marcus Garvey folks, the Detroit Action folks, Detroit 300, what's his name, Pastor Mo, some of the folks that are out here on a regular basis talking about this issue of violence and what can we do. And the reason I think it's a good idea is because some of these folks are repeat offenders. I remember when you were working with community policing and Sergeant Herbert and some of the rest of you all had figured out that there was a small group of people that were recidivists. They were repeat offenders, just kept robbing, kept carjacking, all this kind of stuff like what happened to Tracy. Not only shot her, and then as she's fallen to the ground, or went through her pockets, through her purse, and found her car keys, and jumped in the car and drove off. You know, just horrible violence. You know, her husband, everybody else in the family now has to deal with this, and his family too, because I'm certain the police gonna find him, and his family is gonna have some difficult years ahead because that young man is not going to be around. And I'm saying young man because the camera showed that person walking toward my cousin. And it's going to end up being some 20-year-old, some 30-year-old, somebody young, no moral compass, no moral center, that thinks that it's all right to stand in the parking lot and shoot someone or stand on the side of the gas station. And for years, Marion and I have been advising people, don't go to the gas station at night. Don't go to these convenience stores at night. Stop all that because these criminals.
The whole thing, and then how much time? We have?
About 30 seconds. Go ahead.
We have said this over and over again. You know, go home early, as well as look before you walk out of anywhere. Look around.
Walk out that door. Look left and look
have
right.
Someone, if you coming out from your job, the job should. It used to be that the job
security
would look out for their people.
Employees going to the parking lot. I know.
Uh-huh.
So all of these are things that have gone on, things that have been happening. Wanted to at least start off the year by acknowledging the fact that we some of us are in great sorrow, but we have to go on, and we have to find a way to continue to serve our community, but we have to do something different. So a vigil is being thought of for sure. A community action, a crime summit is being organized, is certainly being discussed maybe sometime in late January. And we're going to have to take back the streets. Can't let the streets go to kids who think that because they've got a gun or a knife that they're in charge. They're not in charge of a damn thing. No, they're not. And we're going to have to come back and bring our neighborhoods back into what Marion calls safety zones. Marion, you got 30 seconds to say goodbye.
Again, I've enjoyed this program. You know, I hope you listened to what we were trying to get over to you. So I'll see where I am next weekend if I feel like walking on this foot. So where we can participate and start cleaning up our community for the benefit of you and all the people in the community.
All right. This is the first broadcast of Ask Welfare Rights in the new year 2023. Lord willing, the creek don't rise. We will see you next Friday. And like Marion and I say every week, when we're here, bye.
I'm Wayne County Treasurer Eric Sabri.
Yeah.
We are living through unprecedented times with a global pandemic now approaching its third year. As a result, the Michigan Homeowner Assistance Fund was created. This fund, administered by the state of Michigan, is designed to help homeowners cope with pandemic-related hardships, such as delinquent property taxes. To see if you qualify, please visit. Call 313-388-9799 or email taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.